All right, guys, we're going to do the last issue of Crusader by Matt Emmons and Adri Lukin from Mad Cave Comics. So we're going to continue the story. Well, this is the last issue. So we're going to continue where we left off. I'm going to go through the story and I tell you afterwards what I think about it, if it's good or, not, or in between or whatever. So, the Crusader has joined this ragtag group of, you can call them heroes, adventurers, if you will, right? So they are here at this creepy castle to defeat the evil, right? And so they're going over this bridge and they see some kind of a statues, right? And the pilgrim doesn't, trust that, right? So he says, well, I don't know. We shouldn't linger here too much, says this woman who is in charge of this group of people. Let's go. But then the statues come alive and then they attack our heroes. But, it's weird that it would be cool if there are more instead of, stopping here. Because it seems that they only attack after they are almost, at the gate where they need to go. Instead of, maybe here in the middle and then getting surrounded by all these, enchanted, I believe, or cursed statues, right? So they're having a battle here, and it looks cool. I like the art style. There is some problems with the art style, but I'm going that into a little bit later. I mentioned it in the last issue too, by the way. But for now, let's move on to the story, right? So this guy says, "Hey, you go, and we handle the monsters here, right?" So Crusader says, "Hey, will your companions be all right?" "They better be." "Where to now?" "Only one way, up." And so they're going down this spiral stair, right? Because his friend Grimbel, I believe, this little creature here, he didn't like them at first, but it seems that he's attached to this little guy, and but then when he goes outside, there's a magic barrier so that the woman cannot get in. And then we have Pilgrim here. This is some kind of, sorcerer, necromancer. And then he is calling up his masters. So the masters appear, lift them into this air. And then he says, "Here you are with all that Latin magic still clinging to you." And he says, "What magic?" Well, it seems, this is just a guess, but in the last couple of issues, he cannot remove his helmet. It still stick to his face. And he has some kind of a sword that comes back to his hand when he wills it or automatically, like, forced hammer. But how? Don't know. Anyway, so he says, "You need to worry about that. All you have to do is allow us to take it. You see, lost soldier, you think we stand in the way of your going home, but you are mistaken. If you let us, we can help you. In exchange for your fealty, won't you let us help you?" They say, right? So Grimmel says, "Don't listen to these goons." He says, "I know. I used to think I was killing for a cause, all those people. They were not evil." He talks about probably the Crusades, in issue number 1 before he transported into this magical world, right? And now he's seen the error of his ways. I would sooner die than shed blood in your name. You are true evil." So, but then they say, "Hey, your willful servitude have been preferable, but we can make do with your blood instead. Pilgrim, if you would do this last favor for us." So the pilgrim cannot die. He's basically immortal, I guess, or these 3 evil kings made him immortal. He never can die. All these, if you can cut him up into pieces, he still regenerates. So he attacks. I've been thinking, no matter how many of you I have to face, it's always the same dance over and over. He says, "Wait." And he said, "It doesn't have to be, doesn't it? Then why, oh why, does everyone else get to die? Everyone except me." And then he cuts him in his stomach, I believe, or in his chest. And so he's really hurt. But then this king said, oh, we only need a little bit blood of him, and then we do the rest. So they use some magic here to, I don't know, put them in stasis so they cannot move. And then they do something with the blood, right? Do you see, O mighty Crusader, your blood is our conduit, and now you will be our vessel into your world. So Pilgrim comes in and says, enough, I've done my part. Let me end this cursed life. Dear Pilgrim, you are so naive. Even if we could kill you, did you really think we would ever part with such a useful tool? I like that. Oh, you are much too valuable to let waste away. Of course, Pilgrim doesn't like that. And he says, if you can kill me, then what's stopping me from killing you? So he says, I will deal with you later. He says, no, you will deal with me now. But then they are doing something with the blood. It expands somehow. And so the king says, just as we bind ourselves to this foolish knight, you have been bound to us. You cannot hurt us. So Grimbel finds this dagger from, the pilgrim. And then he wants to attack the king, right? He says, look, you forgot about one thing. Me. But then he's been swatted away, right? But then it seems that this blood is expanding and expanding. This is actually a doorway to, I believe, the knight's world or time period. Because he's sinking, right? Give in, let us take you home, and with us unleash us until your realm. Now, it's a little bit unclear what their goal actually is, right? Well, again, we're coming back to that a little bit later. So Pilgrim, grabs his hand. He says, listen closely, there's not much time. If this power is because of you, why let him have it? So he says then, if I can die, then I make sure you can. Now I'm not sure if this is something that he wants to do in spite of him or just hates him. So he goes into this portal, I guess, and disappears, and thus closing the portal. He says, a bold gamble on his part, but his absence will not kill us. I don't think that was meant to kill you. Oh, really? I believe he left that part up to me. So then he is dipping his broken sword into his own blood, and it's, transforms into a blood sword. How? Don't know. But he cuts up all the kings, and that was it. What? That was disappointing. So he takes Grimbel, and he says, don't worry, I'm still here. Wouldn't be much of a guide if I up and left you now, would it? So then the woman comes, she says, hey, you alive? You're still here. And he says, yes, I am. Perhaps this place is to be my new home, because he cannot get out of them. He cannot go back to his crusading times. So he says, and the others, see for yourself. So the whole band is together, probably nobody died, or maybe a couple of them. So they say, hey, where's this Pilgrim character? He's gone. I got it handed to you, stranger. It might seem a little bit impulsive, but how about you join us for good this time? But then he says, I appreciate that, I truly do, but I can't. I had my fill of killing. I like that, Again, and then she says, well, I can't say I'm disappointed, but I understand. If you change your mind, you come find us. Farewell. You all right? Yeah, good. Thanks for rescuing me, even though it was an obvious trap. It was the right thing to do. Still as self-righteous sounding as ever. Wait, if this is all over, are you still glued inside that armor of yours? Perhaps. So then he takes his helmet off. But then I like the fact that we don't see his face. So Grimbel says, so that's what you look like under there. All this time I thought you were way uglier. It never ends with you, does it? Come now. You need to rest, my friends. Wait, what was the last word? Did you say friend? What happened? What do you think happened to the Pilgrim guy? Well, Pilgrim is in limbo, right? So he says, I don't know. Maybe he find the end he was searching for all the for after all. So and then he's concentrating, and then he transforms, teleports into the modern world, which looks, I think, 18th, 19th century, according to these clothes, and then he disappears into the crowd. And that's the end of the book. and there's going to be a trade paperback available. So we have a preview of Skeeters. Not interested in that for now. So what do I think about this? Well, I think this book is charming. I said that in the last couple of issues too. There is something about this indie book, because that's how I see it, that makes it fun to read, and I enjoyed it myself. The problems that I have is that the artist, the writer, he's also the writer, right? He's the creator, writer, artist, colorist, right? He's using the same kind of pencil or inking through all these whole characters, but makes everything look thicker when it comes to the lines around it. And therefore, a lot of detail is getting lost. You need to see this black blob in here. So if you are, the artist using a different kind of pencil for the inking or the outlining, I think the art was more readable. But I'm still enjoying this, right? There's something about it I think is cool. But too much black and sometimes too much dark. Not in here. It's pretty bright. So also coming back to the Three Kings, still don't know what they want. I believe, taking over the world, sucking up souls, something like that. But it's not really made clear. What also is not explained is the magic that this knight has in this world. What is it with this magic sword? What can it do? And how did they get it? And how did the kings know about it? Pilgrim characters think is pretty cool. Cannot die. He's been sucked in, being a slave to these three kings. They promised him, oblivion, release of his eternal life, I guess. But they betray him. I like that too. But Pilgrim is not a good character, even though you might think that he helped him, but he says, if I can't die, then I make sure you can. So he expected Crusader to die, right? And also this, turning his blood into a blood sword. Where does it come from? Don't know. How does the Pilgrim know that? I don't know. Doesn't really explain. Also, the action and the killing of these evil beings just over in one panel. Disappointing. That being said, a lot of negatives, if you will. That being said, there is something about this character I think is cool. He is noble. He's seen the error of his ways. He was stoic. He was distrusting. He, gets to know a lot of nice people and some bad people and some trusted friends. And he accepts the fact that he cannot go back to his own time. And he is, doing the right thing, which is, pretty noble of this Crusader guy. Again, what's not really a complaint. So he is going into, our world, but why is then the time changed? I mean, is the Crusaders, the time of the crusading, is that the same time of the 18th or 19th century? Which is a guess, by the way. I'm not sure. He still is, I think, immortal. So he still cannot die, which was his wish in the first place. But that being said, I think this is a good ending. Instead of the Pilgrim, the Crusader going back to his own timeline or time period, it's the Pilgrim that did that. Maybe he will find happiness here, or maybe he can die in this other world. Who knows? So again, a very charming indie comic. If there is ever going to be a volume 2, I definitely pick this up because I enjoyed myself. It's not perfect. It has a lot of problems, but still, I find it enjoyable. Nice little comic, recommended for me anyway. So, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this. I see you next time. Really, bye-bye. Bye-bye.